Yorishika, we are back with the second person album. Our track by track listen through continues with the song Wasuretta Kudasai. Now, just to be clear, it means forget it, but not in that kind of, hey, forget it kind of way. More of like a, forget about it. It's okay to forget about it. That's kind of the way I would read that title. I'm interested to know which direction this goes. In the first opening frame, I mean, immediately I'm like, we're going to get enough one of those Yoroshika concept videos. It looks a lot like that. Yeah, I'm just sort of thinking what's going to happen, what's going to walk into frame. Is this all going to be like a single shot music video? Is it going to be like a day in the life video? I don't know, but I'm always intrigued by this. And I will also say as well, looking through the songs we've had thus far, it has been interesting. The album certainly started in all the non-single tracks with a very clear direction. And I would say that there's a similarity in tone from the couple of singles we've listened to, but certainly musically they feel like they're employing a similar ethos of very live sounding instruments and all of that. But there are certain sounds in these which are different, like, you know, not so much of the trumpets that appeared in the first few songs and slightly different styles of arrangements. And I am starting to wonder whether this was an album that was all written together and just the ones that were picked as singles were just the ones that were most different, or whether maybe the songs were written, the singles were kind of singles that were penned after a while, and the rest of the album was written to kind of make it into a full-length album. I do wonder. I'd love to know, because that's the vibe I'm getting, but maybe we'll find out a little bit more as we dive into this song. Is this going to be another song which is going to be quite different from the opening non-music video tracks? I guess we'll find out. I mean, either way, I'm really enjoying it, so that's the most important thing. Anyway, this is Wasuretta Kudasai by Yorishika.
僕に心を君に花束を揺れる髪だけなびくままにして
Okay, I'm loving how they're changing the lighting. Portray the room in all these different.
箱の中の小さい家の二人で並んだキッチンの小窓のカーテンの先の
ties in nicely with the lyrics. Oh, different objects between the hands, that's cool.
たまには少しの水をやって小さな琵琶が鳴った時忘れてください
Songs following the beautiful piano clap.
僕に僕に心を君に花束を
Back to the core again.
揺れる髪だけなびくままにして僕に言葉を
Oh, there comes that bass. That's
君の
nice.
花歌を
Like how that dropped in halfway through the chorus.
目色の
Let's go. Headphones.
先に
Sauces and iguanas and pops. This video is throwing so much at me and yet so static at the same time.
一つ一つ数えてみてあなた自身の人生のあなたが愛したいもの何もないのかい海のそばの小さい駅を歩いて5分の海岸の僕と見た翡翠の色も忘れてください僕に
Oh, that was nicely done.
僕に
I love songs that put like a bridge between the second verse and the second chorus.
僕に 僕に心を君に花束を揺れる髪だけなびくままにして僕に言葉を君の花歌を長い長い目色の先に置いて
You can see the apartment getting emptied out. being there that last day in the beloved apartment.
かけた静かな休日の寝起きの君が寝ぼけ眼ですら
clapping as everything disappears.
朝のダイニングテーブルに僕の心があったこと忘れてください
That one cuts especially deep because obviously I had to leave behind my apartment in Tokyo recently, a few months ago. That one cuts quite deep in that sense. Do you know what the really interesting thing is about this, if I'm being entirely honest with you, is that I feel like this is very much a tale of two stories. From a musical perspective, there's quite a lot to be talked about here. But first of all, I do want to start with the music video. Sorry, before I talk about the song, I want to start by talking about the music video. Because the music video is something that I really want to kind of get this out of the way primarily. I mean, again, I just love the fact that little turning of the clock and everything. I really love the way this is filmed. I kind of got the vibe from that first frame that this was going to be a one angle music video because this is such an interesting setup of shot. You can see this whole shot from the fisheye lens to all the stuff in it. It's designed to give you like a lot of visual stimulus. This is not the kind of shot you cut away from quickly. And as you see the way that they've beautifully shown it in so many different lightings, it just really kind of shows you how many different moods and feelings you can get from an apartment. And if you've ever lived in, like, especially in a small apartment, like a Tokyo style apartment like my one, where essentially most of the living is done almost entirely one room. You know, you sleep there, you eat there, your kitchenette's in there. I mean, this apartment is actually very similar to my apartment. When you see that kind of thing, it really makes you like look, you know, you see all of the different things in that apartment, every angle of it, every day. So you see it in a million different lightings, a million different moods. You know, that's one room can have so many different things in it. And I think this video captures it so well. Such a simple concept, but there was even one shot, I can't find it exactly. No, not this one. There was one shot where it's literally just the apartment empty with just like one lighter being left on in the kitchenette by the look of it. And it's like, even we've all walked into the apartment where accidentally one light's been left on. Kind of all those moods, everything seemed to be captured. And so for me, I think as a music video, this is absolutely exquisite. I think it captures the mood brilliantly. Fantastic. Absolutely love the music video. So you can probably tell why I've put the song second. I liked the song. I gotta be honest though, of all the songs I've heard on the album so far, this one probably comes in fairly low. And I'll tell you for why. I think it kicks off great. I love the kind of chilled out We Will Rock You piano, piano, clap, piano, piano, clap. Nice. Like that. I think the concept's there. I think the mood's there. The problem for me with this one is that and I did enjoy this. I did like it. And especially with the music video, I think it went really well. However, the thing that clicks with me with a song like this is I can think to myself, how would I feel if I was just listening to the song without the music video? And I don't think I would. I think I was starting to really tune out of the song by the end. It wasn't really holding on to me. And I think the reason is because whereas so much of this album is very core based, you know, you have like a central thing and the song basically kind of maintains this central premise, this central loop that it plays with and toys with and comes back to. It's not true of all of the songs, but certainly a lot of the initial couple of songs with like Become a Cloud, Flowers Are So Noisy, I think Devilishness as well. The song was mostly kind of a looped phrase that kept on toying and playing with it. And I've read since about how Nabano's idea with this is that he wanted to, whereas a lot of Vocaloid writers historically, I almost said historically do songs that have amazingly lush weaving arrangements, he wanted to do something where it was instead a simple core and then you play with certain details. And I think some people have told me about this in the comments as well, so big thank you to everyone who's commented. And that's what this album feels like. I have to say though, this song is probably the first one I've heard where it feels like it was doing that, but not, it just didn't really work. Because it starts off and it's really entertaining when it first comes in with a and you get little things like in the first chorus, the bass drops in and you think, oh, okay, this is going to slowly build, but it kind of doesn't from there. It's nice that it has that little drop out after the second verse. I kind of like that. I thought that was a nice little touch. But then when it comes back, it comes back for the final chorus. It just kind of feels like, okay, we've already had this, and it doesn't really feel like it develops or builds. And I know it's a chilled out song, but the problem is that it didn't quite pull on my heartstrings as much as some of the other songs. So if you're going to do something chilled out, just a little bit of something to tug on the heartstrings, this kind of just felt like the video was tugging on your heartstrings, but the song just, I didn't really get much from it, if I'm honest with you. I'm always honest in my reactions, as you guys know, and I've enjoyed this album very much so far. This wasn't a bad song. It just kind of felt a little bit like a skipper to me. It felt... I would skip over this one, if I'm honest with you. After a few listens to the album, this one would probably... But it's interesting because at the same time I'm saying that and I'm thinking... But I can't imagine sometimes being in a mood where you just want something super simple. I just don't... this is difficult because I can imagine being in a mood where this would just be kind of relaxing. But do you know what I think? Do you know what the real issue is? I think the issue is that this album has other songs that do something very similar better. That's the problem. If I was listening to this in isolation, it would probably be kind of like, oh, that was kind of maybe a bit forgettable, but interesting. But by the way, before anyone says it, I know the lyrics are a big part of this. I really get that. And on that side, I do understand, and it's trying to convey that kind of simple day-to-day dealing with the day-to-day aspects. And I think the funny thing is, I think the video captures that mood better than the song does. This one, thing is, I get the feeling this is going to be a song where a lot of people are going to be very emotionally attached to this song, and they're probably going to hate me for saying this. I just feel like there is a lot of emotional content in the lyrics and in the video. And I just feel like the song just needed to be a little bit more... I think it was trying to be so chilled and mundane that it went too far. I think just a couple of little details in there. Just a little bit more variation. I don't mean adding stuff, just a little bit more variation would have probably helped. There you go. Those are my thoughts. I'm trying to. It sounds like I dislike this song. I actually genuinely didn't dislike it. I just think it would be a bit of a skipper for me on repeat listens. And when I say that, again, it's interesting because when you do these reviews, and this is just me talking a little bit about the context for this. When you do these reviews, it's interesting because if you have something positive to say about a song, it's usually quite quick to go through positives. When you have something negative to say about a song, it usually takes longer to justify it. So if you've got like a 8-minute review and you've got like 5 positives and 1 negative, you'll probably find that about 6 minutes will be dedicated to that 1 negative and only 2 minutes will be dedicated to the 5 positives. So I would say overall I did enjoy this. I did like it. I just don't think it's one of those songs that would grab me enough to really re-listen to it. And if I was listening to the album, I think this would be the first one that I would say, this would be the first one to go if I started getting a little bit into skipping songs, which I probably wouldn't. If I'm honest with you, I'm already thinking if I was listening to this album, it's pretty good at lulling you into a fairly chilled out mindset, so I probably wouldn't be rushing to skip this one. But so far, probably, and it's a shame. Again, video, lyrics, there's a lot of things to like about this one. Don't think the song quite pulls it off. There you go, those are my thoughts. Get in the comments, tell me what you think. Don't press the thumbs down. Press the thumbs down if you want to. Just remember to say subscribe and we'll talk about the next song together. And until we hopefully do, for now, ciao, ciao.